we are covering the dwelling policy perils and loss settlement provisions for the property and casualty exam. Let's start with the most basic form, the DP1. This is a named peril policy, meaning if the peril isn't listed, it isn't covered. The only inherent perils are fire, lightning, and internal explosion. You can add the extended coverage perils, often remembered by the acronym WCHSHAVVR, and vandalism and malicious mischief. A key exam point is that all losses under a DP1 for both the dwelling and personal property are settled at actual cash value, which is replacement cost minus depreciation. Moving up to the DP2 broad form, we add more named perils. Think of it as the DP1 perils plus several important additions, like damage from burglars, falling objects, the weight of ice and snow, and the accidental discharge of water or steam. A common exam trap involves the accidental discharge peril. The policy will pay for the water damage to your floor, but it will not pay to repair the leaky washing machine that caused it. For loss settlement, the DP2 makes a critical shift. It pays replacement cost for the dwelling, provided the structure is insured to at least 80% of its value. However, personal property is still settled at actual cash value. Now for the DP3 special form, which is the most comprehensive. The dwelling itself is covered on an open-peril basis. This means it's covered against all risks of direct physical loss, unless the peril is specifically excluded in the policy. The burden of proof shifts from the insured to the insurance company. But here is a major point of confusion the exam will test you on. Personal property under a DP3 is still covered on a named peril basis, the same broad perils found in the DP2. So while a falling satellite might be covered for the house, damage to the couch from a non-listed peril won't be covered. Loss settlement is the same as the DP2. Replacement cost for the dwelling if the 80% rule is met, and actual cash value for your contents. Let's focus on how specific perils are tested. Vandalism is excluded on all forms if the dwelling has been vacant for over 60 days. The biggest trap is theft. Theft of personal property is not a covered peril on any standard DP1, DP2, or DP3 form. It must be added by endorsement. Expect a question that tries to trick you into thinking the DP3's open peril nature automatically includes theft of contents. It does not. Similarly, collapse is not a named peril, but rather an additional coverage in the DP2 and DP3, and it's only triggered by specific causes, like one of the broad form perils. To keep this all straight, use this mental shortcut. Even the special DP3 doesn't automatically steal-proof your stuff. This phrase will help you remember that theft coverage is always an add-on for personal property in a dwelling policy, which is a frequently tested concept. Remember the 80% rule for replacement cost on the dwelling for the DP2 and DP3, as you will likely see a calculation question based on it. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.